Welcome back to another edition of Four Verticals with Tomahawk Nation, where we will be breaking down a little bit further the Ole Miss versus Memphis game. I'm Juan Montalvo.
I'm Kevin Little.
I'm Adam Brown.
And I'm John Marchant.
All right, so in this play, you have two stacks on each side with receivers, and it's setting up here to look like a two bubble look. And on the inside, they're going to go with a run play, and it's an RPO with the bubble as the pass option on the boundary side at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, this quarterback right here is going to be reading this apex defender, this outside linebacker here, and seeing as he stays out on the bubble, it's an easy give to the inside.
So what is nice inside here is how they are going to loop that tackle around. So anytime you get a three-man front, you're going to work angles. Looks like the nose goes away, and you're going to get the guard to the bottom of the screen here kicking out. You're going to get the tackle fold around him up on the backer, and you're just working angles in there to try to give yourselves an advantage.
And it looks here like the field side guard just isn't able to get to the second level and get that field side backer in time. If he does, he's got a good chance at getting a little bit more yards. But the field side backer there does a nice job of reading the play and getting inside.
Yeah, I agree. This is basically it's an RPO read, but this is really just an auto give because of where the apex defender is. He's so wide at the snap of the play.
Yeah. Additionally, you got pure numbers here. There's 5 guys in the box with the one guy cheating in from the outside, and you're never going to be throwing it to the field side bubble because your quarterback's facing the opposite direction.
Yeah. The backs to the bottom of the screen. You're going to be riding them to the left. It's kind of hard to turn and throw left.
Yes, it's really impossible to know if this was called an RPO or a package play, but fundamentally this acts as a package play. So there was the read was probably pre-snap more than anything, because that's just a hard read to make in the moment, and it's so easy.
The threat of the RPO there actually makes a big impact, though, because even if this one is just a called run, the threat there on the bubble pushes the boundary side safety further towards the bubble alignment. You can see him when you go on to the next replay of this. Number 5 here, who's coming into the ball, he actually starts moving even before the snap, well to the boundary side.
And I think a lot of people would probably want to refer to this as like an inside zone or something like that, but it looks like it's a duo play, because you're basically just going to get a hat on a hat in there. You're not getting a lot of reaching going on, and then with the wrap down here, I think that kind of is a giveaway.
Either way, it's a nice little blocking design on an odd front there, which you don't run into a lot these days in college football against spread. You see a lot of teams these days, including Alabama, going to a 4-man front rather than a 3-man front. And this just shows you they can split them wide in 2x2 and still block them up. So in this play, they're set up with a 3x1 to the field side, and on the boundary side, you've got what they call a nub tight end, which means he's closed. There's no receiver outside of him, and on that same side, you have a running back. This, if you look at the alignment, is an obvious setup to throw some sort of screen to the field side. You have 3 receivers. You have 1 corner over top and a backer that's cheating inside. And as it goes, they set up and they do a screen. The inside receiver here is looking to get to that outside backer, and as he goes to block him, he comes a little further inside. Let's see what happens. So did he read that backer correctly? Should he have been trying to push to the second level immediately, or once he saw that guy come crashing down?
Well, I think he read it correctly. I think he just committed himself too long on that outside linebacker, and then he just is out of position to block the Mike. If he can wall that Mike off, meaning he can have his butt between the defender and the sideline there, the ball carrier can keep going. But he's a little out of position because he gets down inside too much.
And it looks like there's no doubt that his role here is to block down and give those play side linemen some space to kick out and give the receiver a little bit of room to run under it. Not quite a middle screen, but almost, a receiver screen that's designed towards the middle. So I guess a middle screen.
Right, because look at the alley they're trying to create with the inside receiver in the bunch there, and then the center coming out. You're trying to get a wall on the Mike linebacker with the inside receiver, and you're trying to get the center to come kick out whoever the force player is.
Florida State fans will be very familiar with the failures of middle screens.
Yeah, from a quarterback standpoint, I don't think there's much of a read on this play, but if there was, they're probably looking at this apex again, and he clearly stunts inside, making this an easy toss to the screen if there was a read. Again, I think the top screen is probably just a dummy to pull out this linebacker here.
Right. It definitely pulls them wide to the boundary. It just, like Juan said, it's supposed to give them more space to go in the middle of the field. It just didn't quite get blocked up right.
And I have to guess that Norvell got the look that he was wanting out of Ole Miss here with the blitz off the edge. It just, just didn't execute it well.
I think it's one of the positive things that we're seeing now here in our second installment of this film review series is there's a lot of good plays that are there that just aren't quite 100% executed. There's good play design, there's good ideas, and then, the inside receiver here doesn't make the correct block. And it's that simple.
Yeah, but here's the deal. If it was last year, we'd be in love with a 6-yard gain on first down.
Yeah, amen.
Well, let's not get started on the offensive line, but we don't want to get too O-line centric here.
6 yards on first down, though, you'll take it every time.
All day. That's a success by the books, by the math, by everything. So Memphis is lined in a 2x2 from gun here. They've got 2 receivers on the field side and a tight end and receiver on the boundary side. And this is what would be called a classic stick play. And so to give you an idea what the stick play is, watch the tight end on the first go around here. You're going to see him run to the sticks, which are in this case is the first down pylon. He does a very nice job of getting past the yellow marker you see on the field here, but he does a nice job of making sure he's actually in the correct distance, which a lot of players don't.
So this is an example of a triangle read. You have the number 1 receiver to the boundary running a go route. Like Juan said, you have the tight end running the stick route, and then you have the running back going out into the flat. And it just creates a nice triangle between the 3 of them. The quarterback reads that. You have the running back in the flat wide open on 3rd and 7, and he picks it up.
Yeah, as you can see, this safety that comes down gets held up on the stick, just leaving this, we used to call it a shoot route, this little out route by the running back wide open.
And when you got a running back in the flats open on 3rd and 7, you take it. You just got to get to the first down. You got to get to the sticks. And the tight end does a nice job with the collision there, which is always a fundamental part of the stick route, especially when it features a tight end.
He does a nice job. The tight end attacks the outside shoulder, which you're supposed to do. He tries to create some space. And I mean, at that point, Memphis or Ole Miss has no chance of getting to that back.
Right. So I was going to ask whether the blitzing linebacker, 52 on the end there for Ole Miss, who is supposed to cover the flat? If it's cover 3, does a tight end really run a pick route on the guy who's supposed to come down, or did a Memphis player just not read this correctly?
The player who is collisioned by the tight end, he should be going to the flat. Because he's got the corner picking up the deep third. He's got the Mike backer there in the hook zone. And then on the other side, you got your two guys there. So it looks to me as though on first look that's the guy who should be dropping to the flat. And he just picks up the collision rather than the flat, which is his responsibility. 7 yards later, it's first down.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's got to get out there. But, you got a tight end running right at your face. What do? You bail on him?
240-pound guy with a mullet runs into you. You can't bail on it.
So on the backside here, we do have a little different route. They have switch verticals.
Yeah, and sometimes this is a one side read. So pre-snap, the quarterback's going to decide to work the stick over that little switch route, and it could be anything from what coverage he sees to how he sees people line up. But yeah, it gets boiled down to a one-side read despite the switch up top.
And you can see that in the way they run the routes. Those are very much what they would call Briles routes. They're not the most emphasized by the receivers there. They know they're not getting the ball on this one.
Well, as soon as Brady White sees pressure, he knows he's got the tight end or the back.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Ole Miss only brings 4 here, but they do a nice job with a little stunt in the middle there, and it gets home. And as soon as he sees that, like Adam mentioned, it's right in that guy's hands.
Yeah, I mean edge pressure, they can only cover one of them. So
It is a nice little zone blitz there, by the way, by Ole Miss.
again, 3rd and 7, we're seeing a well-timed play call by Mike Norvell.
And really right into the face of that zone blitz.
Oh, yeah, I guess he does do it again.
So on this play, you see Adam Fuller's defense set up to do a blitz with the bandit safety here on the bottom side of the screen. You can see the bandit coming down in, and he's going to jump in, and it's going to be a 5-man rush. And you see the outside corners dropping back into what appears to be a cover 3 zone blitz. And Ole Miss is set up to do an RPO, which appears to be a combination of an inside run and a bubble screen. Given the alignment of the receivers up top, it doesn't appear that it's going to be a bubble, more that it's going to be a run.
Yeah, so you see the 2-man game there. The Fox stunts hard inside, and the bandit coming off the edge. In Tomahawk Nation, we've talked a lot about how Adam Fuller believes in being more offensive mindset with his defense and how much he pressures. You're going to see a lot on first and 10. He's going to bring one of those safeties from either side of the field and try to get pressure and get the offense behind the chains.
And when you can get that sort of matchup on an offensive tackle like that, you've got the Fox, who's going to be an athletic defensive lineman, as well as the bandit safety flying in.
Yeah, and they time it really well too.
Yeah, he comes in, and that offensive tackle has virtually no chance at grabbing either one of them, because you see the defense, the 3 tech here. He's gonna slant over, and that gives a little bit more space for the other 2 to operate in.
Yeah, they do a nice job of executing.
Between the guard and the tackle, neither of them have a chance on that one.
And I think Ole Miss really misses an opportunity. This quarterback, I mean, if I was a coach, I'd want him to take that 2-on-2 bubble screen up top all day. That's usually 5 to 10 yards you can get. But instead, it doesn't look like he read it right or how to read it all.
Well, and this is a position that's going to worry me going into the season, is that field end. You want an athlete there that's going to be able to keep his shoulder square and get back outside on the quarterback keeping the ball. So, you look at it, if the quarterback for Ole Miss keeps the ball, is that kid in the position to make a play? I don't know if he is, and I don't know if Florida State's got a kid on their roster that's going to be able to do that.
No, like you're absolutely correct. I mean, between Kando and Janarius Robinson, you have 2 very good athletic players, but they're 2 large players. You have 260-pound, 270-pound type guys. And being on the field edge like that, it's just difficult when you're trying to combat a 200, 220-pound quarterback in space who can run. And, when you get into ACC play and you get against some of the more mobile quarterbacks, that can present an issue.
The thing I like about this style of defense is that Florida State can always bring in good DBs, and I think a key to a good blitzing team is having DBs that can defend for those 2 to 3 seconds it takes to get to the quarterback.
And you're going to notice, Fuller's going to bring the DBs, and he's going to blitz those guys more than those inside backers.
And they got a lot of depth there. They can rotate them out, keep them fresh.
But yeah, when you can have a guy like Hanson Oswaldine coming inside and rolling down in and being part of the pressure package, he's a dynamic athlete. He's just someone you want to be able to make part of your play. And I think you're going to see that more and more under Fuller's defense, like this bandit safety that comes and rolls down and runs right in. I would not be surprised to see number 23 or number 5 this year, I suppose, doing that as well. So this way here, you have Memphis lined up in what looks like a very simple single high safety coverage, and they bring some serious pressure. This ends up being 7-man pressure. The field side end is going to hesitate a hair. That once he realizes it's a pass play, he's going to come right in and head straight at the quarterback.
Yeah, so those defensive ends, what he's doing there is he's making sure that the quarterback doesn't pull it on some read option. And as soon as he sees it as a passing play, he jets upfield and makes the sack.
He does a really nice job there, in his contained responsibility. And then once he sees that that ball is not going to be handed off, he's getting upfield and obviously takes the safety there. But he's not the only thing we want to feature here. I mean, you can see if you look towards the back end of the coverage, you see the boundary side safety rushing in as part of the defense, and you really only have 4 guys out defending. I mean, it's a true 7-man pressure. They're bringing the heat.
Right, one of those 4 guys is the slot defender. He walls off the slot receiver right there, the number 2 receiver, and it really just buys more time for the rush to get there.
Yeah, and a technique you've seen us talk about on the boards is with the Fox is his full technique, where he's going to take a step back and then kind of loop his way inside against a run game. But with the pressure inside and the ball being a pass play, it's not really a factor. But it's cool to see some different techniques that they're bringing over.
So, can I ask a question? What gap would the Fox have there?
So he would end up having, I believe, having a gap. No, I think the Fox would have, at the top of the screen. When he loops inside, I think he's going to be taking a gap.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm sorry, I was referring to the field side, but yeah, the Fox definitely loops back in right into the A gap.
Right. In that situation, who's responsible for the C gap?
I have a feeling it's your deep tackle.
Your D tackle there starts to loop outside to give the Fox some space to fold in, and he seems to be going towards that area and ends up taking on a double from the tackle and the guard. So he's got, he's in the B gap at that point.
That's a good call.
More aggression on 1st and 10.
That's what you really have to love about Adam Fuller's defense is they see, okay, we're on the 1.5 yard line. We've got these guys pinned back. They may be spread out, but we're going to go for it. What's going to hurt you? I mean, they're in compressed space behind the line of scrimmage. There's not a lot of room for them to work. And if you can confuse them, fold in that Fox, bring in that field side end, you got a good chance that you might be able to disrupt them in the backfield. Of course, obviously in this play, take the safety.
Add 2 points in the ball.
Yeah. So in this play, what you're going to see from Adam Fuller's defense is a true 8-man coverage. You're going to see what appears to be a cover 4. So that means that both the outside corners are going to drop deep into quarters, and both your safeties are going to drop into deep quarters as well. And your underneath players are going to be taking the responsibility of 4 zones, 2 flats, 2 hook zones in the middle. And that leaves your Fox defensive end to cover the flat on the boundary side on the top of your screen. And what he's going to do is going to end up carrying a wheel route. There appears to be a little bit of confusion in the defensive backfield, and it looks like there was potential for them to exploit that here.
Yeah, so we've seen a ton of talk, this preseason or, it's over the spring about the Fox position and what its role is going to be and dropping in coverage. And so we thought this was probably a good clip to highlight that. We know that player's only going to drop maybe a handful of times a game, if that many times. So it's where they're going to be is just that little bit of space out there in the flat. He shouldn't be covering this wheel route. That corner should be coming off, and they should be passing it. But you get an idea here or a sense of what he's going to be doing when he does drop into coverage.
And I think that's something important to emphasize, whether it's 8-man coverage on a play like this, where you have everybody sitting back and sort of not playing prevent, but playing a pretty defensive outlook, or whether it's a zone blitz where he will be tasked to carry a little bit more responsibilities. They're never going to be asked to be carrying guys way up into the end zone. That's just not what a defensive end is going to be asked to do at most defenses. You see a defensive end in coverage, it's a mistake. No, usually it's part of the design, and maybe somebody on the back end has made a mistake.
Yeah, I think this quarterback gets rid of the ball way too quick, and that might be a side product of being blitzed all game. But it's still the first quarter, but if he holds onto this ball, this running back has this end beat on the wheel route. It's just he's a little trigger happy.
Yeah, especially with that corner up there at the top coming in too far inside. and not staying out there where you should have switched back off.
Where you would see the typical complaint about a defensive end in coverage, it's often not his fault. I mean, in this particular case, you see that corner start coming inside right here, and he should be helping over the top on that wheel route in the cover 4 situation here.
It's a good play design by Ole Miss, with the slant and the wheel route by the back. We actually see Memphis run this quite a bit. But what ends up happening is, we've talked about how aggressive Adam Fuller is on first and second down. And here, he's dropping 8. And they're basically daring the Ole Miss quarterback, hey, we dare you to beat us. And they don't think he can. And he proves he can't.
Adam Fuller likes to gamble a little bit either way. I mean, this is not a situation where you would typically see a lot of coaches go for an 8-man coverage spread out like this. You'd see a lot of guys come in probably with field pressure here. It's an easy place for a guy to bring in that field side nickel and really put in some pressure. But Adam Fuller, he's a bit of a gambler, and he likes to change things up. And he obviously has the quarterback spooked already at this point. Like it was mentioned, still the first quarter, but he's seen plenty on film before this that they will blitz a lot on third down, and he wasn't prepared for an 8-man coverage. Thank you for joining us for another edition of 4 Verticals. Be sure to check back in when we'll be checking out the next few games of Memphis' schedule from 2019 to look at Adam Fuller and Mike Norvell.